not have a chair yet, so we'll have one of those later in the meeting. But do you start the recording, Nate? And have you? Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Okay, and I will call this meeting to order at 4:31 p.m. on September 7th, 2022. This meeting of the Youth Commission. And I will turn it over to analyst Nate for roll call.
Okay, when I call your name, please say present. Commissioner Carter Ballou. Present. Commissioner Colin Ballou. Present. And please use the microphone. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Present.
Commissioner Rohatki.
Present.
Commissioner Junis.
Present.
Commissioner Rupert.
Present.
Commissioner Lashansky. Commissioner Sue.
Present.
And Commissioner V Meister.
Present.
Let the record show all commissioners are present.
Fantastic. Let's see, Commissioner Rupert, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today?
I can.
Thank you very much. Do we have any special presentations today?
There are no special presentations.
And moving on to part 5 of the agenda, oral communications.
Yes, we have two. First, Kelly McCormick, followed by April Smith. You each have 3 minutes to address the commission.
I'm a public health educator with San Diego Alliance, and I want to welcome you all to the Youth Commission. It's so exciting to see a new group this year. And I know some of you from activities that San Diego Alliance does in the district, and a couple that I'd like to share with you today are looking for volunteers. And so if you would be interested, and people that you know in your circle of influence would love if you could let them know this information. One of the programs is Study Buddies, and I know Joy has been a big buddy for many years. It's a program where you guys, the teen students, are matched with elementary school students. And you are with them for an hour a week. It's usually once a week for like 6 weeks. You help them with homework, provide some mentoring, just some basic friendship, and playing on the playground or playing board games. When it's in person, we may have an in-person and a Zoom option. But it's just a really rewarding program because the younger kids really look up to you as teenagers, and we've seen just some really great relationships form out of that. And it also gives you a chance to brush up on your math skills and things like that, you know, that you learned in 5th grade. And also it's nice for college resumes as well. So it's a win-win. And so I have applications for that. And this is about teen presenters, and that's a program for teens, for seniors specifically, who have always been alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, and other drug-free. And they go to the 6th grades and the middle schools and talk about why they made their choice to be drug-free and how that has benefited them through high school. And I'm sure a lot of you, if you went to elementary and middle school here, you remember being on the other side when the teen presenters were speaking. And so if you would like to take advantage of that opportunity to go back as a teen panelist, that would be awesome as well. So I will have these two. Thank you for your time.
sure if I was going to be presented. But hello, my name is April Smith. I have been coming to this Youth Commission for about a year now. I am a librarian here at Encinitas Library. And so I'm here to hopefully spread information about the library services to you, and also you can spread information about your schools to me. So I'm hoping that this fall I can actually start with youth programming, specifically teen programs, because starting this month we've slowly phased in story time, adult services, and then so it's time to bring in the teens again, and I'm hopefully will be here to gather some of that knowledge and work with you about bringing programs to with us. So thank you.
Thank you to both of our speakers today. Really appreciate you joining the commission, and I'm sure we'll see you again throughout the year. Any changes to the agenda today?
There are no changes to the agenda.
Perfect. Then we will move on to part 7 of the agenda, approval of the June 20th, 2022 Youth Commission special meeting minutes. All commissioners can approve of these. I do need a motion to approve the special meeting minutes.
Commissioner Rupert motions to approve.
Commissioner Rupert motions. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Gonzalez seconds.
Sorry. Do we discuss? I think we just go to a vote. Analyst Nate, would you like to take that to a vote?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a vote for the minutes. Starting with Commissioner Ballou, Carter Ballou,
I approve the minutes.
Commissioner Colin Ballou,
I approve the minutes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yay.
Commissioner Junis,
Yay.
Commissioner Leszczynski,
Yay.
Commissioner Rohaki,
Yay.
Commissioner Rupert,
Yay.
Commissioner Sue,
Yay.
and Commissioner V Meister.
Yay.
Okay, the June 20th special meeting minutes are approved.
Thank you. Now on to part 8 of the agenda, approval of the August 24th, 2022 Youth Commission Orientation Workshop minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the orientation minutes?
Commissioner Rupert motions to approve orientation minutes.
Commissioner Rupert so moves. Do we have a second?
Commissioner Leszczynski seconds.
Commissioner Leszczynski seconds. Analyst Fisher for a vote.
Commissioner Carter Ballou,
Yay.
Commissioner Colin Ballou,
Yay.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yay.
Commissioner Junis,
Yay.
Commissioner Leszczynski,
Yay.
Commissioner Rohaki,
Yay.
Commissioner Rupert,
Yay.
Commissioner Sue,
Yay.
and Commissioner V Meister.
Yay.
The minutes are approved.
Thank you, everybody. Move on to the action items for today's agenda. We'll start with action item 9A, Youth Commission Chair and Vice Chair elections. So today we will be electing our Chair and Vice Chair that will lead these meetings going forward for the rest of the term. And for these positions, I would recommend that if you are interested in leadership roles generally, if you feel like you have some leadership skills that you'd like to bring to these positions, then you will fit well. Some knowledge of how the Youth Commission works is certainly a plus in these roles, and if needed, we can do some short speeches about why you may feel that you are applicable for this role. Otherwise, we will start with nominations for the chair for the Youth Commission this year. You can nominate yourself, or you can nominate a fellow commissioner. Do I have any nominations on the floor?
Commissioner Rupert for chair.
Commissioner Rupert self-nominates. I assume that you would like to accept that nomination. So do we have any other nominations for chair?
Commissioner Gonzalez.
There is a self-nomination from Commissioner Gonzalez for chair. Do we have any other nominations for chair? Thank you very much. I will turn things over to Analyst Fisher to do a vote. We will go commissioner by commissioner. Please state your name and which of the two commissioners, Gonzalez or Rupert, you would like to vote for chair.
Okay, we'll start with Commissioner Carter Ballou.
I'm Commissioner Carter Ballou, and I would like to vote for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Colin Ballou.
Commissioner Colin Ballou. I would like to vote for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Gonzalez, I'd like to vote for myself.
Commissioner Junis,
Commissioner Junis, I would like to vote for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Lashinsky,
Commissioner Lashansky, I like to vote for Commissioner Rupert.
Commissioner Rohaki,
Commissioner Rohatke, and I'd like to vote for Commissioner Rupert.
Commissioner Rupert,
Commissioner Rupert.
Commissioner Sue,
Commissioner Sue, I would like to vote for Commissioner Rupert.
and Commissioner V Meister.
Commissioner V Meister, I'd like to vote for Commissioner Rupert.
Okay. Commissioner Rupert is elected as chair of the Youth Commission by a vote of 5 to 4.
Thank you, everybody. Now let's move on to vice chair for this year's Youth Commission. Do we have any nominations on the floor for vice chair of this year's Youth Commission?
Commissioner Gonzalez.
We have a self-nomination for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Sue.
Commissioner Sue, I hear. So we have Commissioners Gonzalez and Sue. Any other nominations on the floor? Both of those were self-nominations. Hearing no other nominations, I will turn it over to Annalise Fisher, and we'll do the same process for vice chair.
All right. Commissioner Carter Ballou,
I'm Commissioner Carter Blue, and I vote for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Colin Ballou,
Commissioner Colin Blue for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Commissioner Gonzalez, I'll vote for myself.
Commissioner Junis,
Commissioner Junis, I vote for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Lashinsky,
Commissioner Lashansky, I vote for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Rohaki,
Commissioner Rohatke, and I'd like to vote for Commissioner Gonzalez.
Commissioner Rupert,
Commissioner Rupert, I'll vote for Commissioner Sue.
Commissioner Sue,
Commissioner Sue, I'll vote for myself.
and Commissioner V Meister.
Commissioner V Meister, I'll vote for Commissioner Sue.
Okay. Commissioner Gonzalez is elected vice chair of the Youth Commission by a vote of 6 to 3.
And congratulations to Chair Rupert and Vice Chair Gonzalez. Excited to see what both of you are able to accomplish in those leadership roles this year. And yeah, I'm excited for you both to lead the meetings going forward as well. Chair Rupert will lead meetings, and in her absence, Vice Chair Gonzalez will lead meetings. And if we get to a third person, then we'll just figure that out from there. Thank you all for voting so quickly. Let's move on to action item 9B. This is the Youth Commission work plan preparation. So today we are looking through, I'm going to bring up the old Youth Commission work plan from last year. We're going to kind of go through some things. This section of our action items today is a little bit conversational. We can sort of open the floor to general discussion, and we'll go through some things that we may want to keep and roll over from last year's work plan, and hopefully we've all brought some ideas for some new work plan items, and we can discuss those and kind of come to some consensus as a group as to what we would like to focus on this year. So I'd like to begin by looking through a few of these that I think we would like to keep regardless, because they offer us some flexibility in terms of who we're able to bring in terms of speakers and things like that. So let's start with work plan item number 1 from last year's civic engagement series. This is something that we generally do from year to year and is always helpful in terms of getting our some of our staff from the city to come in and speak with you all about various opportunities that career-wise might present themselves through government. So I think this would be one that is sort of useful for us this year as well as every other year. Can I get a consensus from the group that that's probably going to be good? Okay, I see the consensus. And last year we had Rupert, Sue, and Lashinsky on this. I'd like to maybe change that up a little bit. So can we get a show of hands of not those folks that might be interested in contributing to this one? Okay, so I am seeing Junis, V Meister, and I'm going to go with Carter because you had your hand up first. So Carter Baloo. Also, you might be wondering why can only 3 people do these or be on the ad hoc committees, if you will. If you recall, the Brown Act kind of dictates that for us, as we can only have 3 of the commissioners working together in any one thing. So we do limit those things to 3 folks, hence splitting up Carter and Colin on that one. So Junis, Carter, and V Meister. I'm saying that right. V Meister? V Meister. V Meister, okay. Thank you very much. Additionally, number 2, intergenerational programming. Typically, something comes up on a yearly basis where we have an opportunity to work with the senior commission on something that is intergenerational, or we can get creative and try to come up with something that works with our local seniors that is beneficial, I think, both to this commission and also to the local community. So hearing that background of this particular work plan item, do we have any opposition to that, rolling that one over again from this group?
Question, did Commissioner Pacheco ever finish recording or send in a video tutorial from that job?
We never got to a video tutorial in years past. That's been something that several youth commissions have tried to accomplish. I think it's something that the pandemic got in the way a little bit of being able to get folks in the same room and also work with some of our seniors in the local community to be able to accomplish that. So it might behoove us as a group to move away from that specific part of the work plan item and try and come up with a new goal that would benefit the intergenerational programming for Encinitas. But great question, and hopefully we can come up with something as a group that's a little bit creative and sort of maybe speaks to this group as opposed to the ones in years past. And while we're on it, we might as well talk about it. And does anybody have any ideas for intergenerational programming that might be helpful and be able to help us kick that one off this year?
I still really enjoy the idea of helping the seniors assist in like voter registration, especially with November coming up. If we can come up with some sort of video for that, because I know a lot of them either don't know how to navigate online or don't know how to fill in the ballot correctly. That's something that I think would be good for that committee to work on.
Yeah, it's a great point. We are in voting season now, so that could be something that's beneficial and really would have to hit the ground running on that. Rupert, would you like to work on that committee this year?
Sure, again.
And can I get 2 other commissioners that have interest in working with intergenerational programming this year? Sue. And let's go Lashensky. Thank you very much. I'm going to skip over 3 and 4 as they have been a couple of work plan items we've used for the last few years. So if you want to have some flexibility on changing those things, I want to open that up to the floor when we get there and jump to number 5, which is identifying guest speakers for future youth commission meetings. This is another one that we generally roll over year to year. It's really beneficial. We always bring in speakers. A few folks that we've had in the past, actually one of our speakers today, actually maybe both of our speakers today, now that I'm thinking about it, have probably served in that capacity at various points. So it's usually beneficial for us as a commission to be able to just bring in some folks from the community that are heavily involved with various activities that have a wealth of knowledge that they can pass on to the commissioners. So with your consensus, I'd like to roll that one over. Yeah, Commissioner Gonzalez. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Commissioner Gonzalez, absolutely. I know that you were pretty instrumental with that one last year, so let's keep you on that. And 2 other hands that of interest. So I see Colin Baloo and Commissioner Rohatki. Rohatki or Rohatji? Rohatki, okay. Rohatki. Okay, so I've got Rohatki, Gonzalez, and Colin Baloo. Thank you very much. Additionally, work plan items 6 and 7 from last year. If you all would like to change it up from those, feel free. I know that work plan item number 8 is one that we would like to carry over. We'd spoken about that in last year's Youth Commission. I know that Commissioner Rupert, you were already pretty heavily involved in that. Do you want to stay on working with the potential virtual holiday contest?
I can. I have a few other committee ideas that I'd like to add to the agenda. So am
Yeah.
I only allowed to join 3, correct?
So that's a bit of math for me right now. Trying to figure out how many. So there's 9. 3 will be the max. Yeah, that is good math. So, so if 3 other folks have more interest, do we have a show of hands for the virtual holiday contest? I see Colin, Carter, and Gonzalez. So let's go with Colin, Carter, and Gonzalez. Okay, perfect. And the Youth Commission mission statement is something that we still have yet to finalize. So as a commission, I'd really like to challenge us to maybe get that one done this year. And
We have to have a committee for that. Can we just like draft it?
yeah, it is, since it's it is a work plan item for sure. Like it will be work that gets done and sort of finalized, and it will sort of go into the records, if you will, and sort of dictate future youth commissions. So we'll definitely need a work plan item for it. Fair question. So we'll go ahead and keep that one. And can I have 3 commissioners that have interest in working on that committee? Commissioner Sue, Gonzalez, that's going to cap you out. Gonzalez, just want to make sure you're aware of that. Okay. So I got Sue, Gonzalez, and one more. Hearing none, I'm probably going to actually, everybody's raised their hand so far. Nobody? All right, we'll leave it open for now. We'll come back to it. Okay, so let's jump back now. Let's start maybe talking about just some ideas that you have. I'm going to just start writing them down. We don't need to necessarily go like, we're going to fill number 3 with this, we're going to fill number 4 with this. Let's go stream of conscious today and get a full list of things, and we can narrow it down. Looks like we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 potentially that we will need to fill yet. And I will get some direction from our director as well to see if there are any things that either council or other commissions would like us to focus on that would potentially fill 1 or 2 of those. But we will definitely have a couple that we can fill based on your ideas. So feel free to open mic, jump on, and start airing out some ideas that you have for the commission.
Okay, so I'll pass this to Commissioner V Meister. I think one of the ones that we've thought of is possibly one dedicated to youth voter registration. And V Meister, do you want to speak more to that?
Yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah, the possibility of being able to engage young voters and also prepare them for once they turn 18, that would be very ideal. So providing resources for them and directions, and it would be, nonpartisan as well. So yeah, it would strictly be information and just trying to get whoever is eligible to vote able to vote.
Another committee possibility would possibly be working directly with like this Encinitas library, because I feel like that could be something in of itself, especially since we're trying to increase youth engagement for the Encinitas library, and there's a lot of free public resources that a lot of students could have utilized, but a lot of people do not know about the resources that the Encinitas library offers. So that committee could be in charge of either social media posts, public pamphlet information about this library, and getting that distributed to school sites. Because I know we have a few that you came over to SDA to give out specifically, but I think if we kind of put a little youth twist on it, that could increase youth turnout.
I'd also like to recommend another commission, which would be an equity commission. So working for, equity regarding BIPOC and LGBTQ+ issues.
And I know that can be tricky with the term equity. I know that can start something, but it could be small tasks involving just making sure that I know there's like an art museum popping up on the 101 and making sure that there's diverse artists who aren't involved in that. And just helping with making sure that the city, like public information is accessible to everyone, because I know there's a lot of gaps in communication, and then probably inviting guest speakers that deal with multiculturalism, equity, and inclusion to the commission to speak.
So as you are coming up with these commissions and these potential work plan items, just to keep in mind that we need tangible outcomes and that we can't get too much into operations, and it needs to be more like recommendations of best practices rather than operationally trying to change something. It really needs to be the recommendations for it, and then also if it's not operational, then tangible action items.
And to elaborate a little bit on that, you mentioned specifically like finding specific artists. That's going to fall into our arts department. So that's something where that wouldn't necessarily be a tangible outcome that we could have. However, on the flip side of that, you mentioned getting resources into the hands of folks in the community. That is something that obviously we could do. So that sort of helps to differentiate a little bit between what the commission can and cannot do.
And to elaborate on that slightly further, you can make one of your goals, or you could make one of your goals to be something like research best practices on equity in art curation and selection, and do research and bring forth recommendations based on what best practices are in other communities or sources you find.
I just have a general question. Is the Youth Commission allowed to have a social media account or somewhere where we can share resources, or is there a media account that already exists that, like, if we wanted to create an infographic or something to put out to the public, it can go somewhere?
The city of Encinitas has social media that if we had an infographic that we were going to share on behalf of the Youth Commission, we could do it through there. I would definitely caution us again. Are we able to do one? So we're not able to do one for the commission directly. Not to mention, even if we were able to, I would kind of steer us away from it, because while it may be easy for your commission to handle it, when you move it on down the road, passing it from one person to one person, it's not always the easiest thing to manage. So, but it sounds like we don't really have that option anyway.
Yeah, the city has a public information officer that manages all of our press releases and information that goes out on social media, while other cities may have a park and rec social media. The current situation in Encinitas is that everything runs through one main social media account, and so that we can more easily make sure we're not bombarding the public with information, and also curate what's being sent out as appropriate in the timeline of events in the city and happenings and whatnot.
Yeah, I just had another idea for something on the work plan. I remember in previous years we had the cybersecurity one, but I feel as though, like, since we didn't do a whole lot on that one, I feel as though if we could change it to be something more like overall like tech literacy based for all ages, because I know like all ages struggle with different aspects of it. So having like an overall tech literacy one could help with like informing the public and making sure everybody knows what to do in like specific tech situations.
Yeah, Commissioner Leszczynski, I think that's a good idea. Something technology related where we can sort of expand a little bit on what that work plan goal did last year. I think it's an excellent idea, and we can continue to refine that. So let's definitely get something technology based onto the work plan this year. And I think we can, that is a specific topic that allows us to get some additional speakers in that I think could be really beneficial, not only to this group, but anybody that chooses to listen and attend. So yeah, that's definitely a good direction there. Any other ideas? Thank you, everybody that's come up with some ideas already. I think these are quality work plan goals that we can continue to refine.
I would encourage the youth commissioners to just throw spaghetti at the wall at this point, even if it's just like an idea that's ruminating in your head, but you don't have a specific outcome. If it's something you think is a topic, maybe some of your commissioners in this forum could help you come up with maybe how to narrow that down, or between now and next meeting, be ruminating on the topic that you bring forth.
I was coming up with ideas earlier this week, and I was remembering back to a time when my basketball coach told me that there's no full court basketball hoop in Encinitas, and one of the moms, I don't know how like true this story is, but one of the moms came to the city council and was told that many people think that it brings around the wrong type of, the wrong crowd, and this was like an actual answer that my coach gave me. And of course, I don't think the youth commission could do anything to like build the like a basketball court, a full court basketball court outdoors. But I think if we could do something to spread the awareness or communicate with like the parks and recreations or something, I think that might be something we could expand on.
Thank you for throwing that out there, Colin, because sorry, Carter. Carter, right? Thank you for throwing that out there. So let's unpack that a little bit. So we will have some ability to do something with what you're saying. Generally speaking, in terms of building something, that would be operational. So we would stay away from that. But there are a lot of resources that my guess would be a lot of people don't know about. There are basketball courts at Glen Park. We're looking into whether or not they're half courts or full courts. I don't remember. Does anybody know? Glen Park, the outdoor courts?
Yeah, he said the only full court basketball hoops are indoors.
Correct, and that was the other thing I was going to say, is at the Encinitas Community Center, we do have an indoor court that's actually really heavily used. We have folks in there all the time, which is great. And that's open to the public as well. No fee of any kind is required to go in there and use that court. So it's also a cool zone for those of you that might be wondering during this heated time of year. And we're still...
I'm sorry, like my reception here is terrible.
Or bad reception. So, but off the top of my head, I felt like that was a full court, but I could be wrong at Glen Park. Either way, the other issue we have, generally speaking, is competing sort of directional choices for the city, right? Because we have very limited park space in Encinitas. Those of you that live here might be aware, but the greenery, generally speaking, we do have a full court at that's at Glen Park, right? Yeah, a full outdoor court. So maybe some years ago, somebody took that advice and heated it and went ahead and made sure that happened. So we do have one full court there, and then the indoor court at the community center. But what I think we can do that I think ties directly into what you're talking about is awareness for the public of the resources that we do have in the city. Because I would be willing to guess that, like that situation, many folks don't know that we have a full basketball court there, or the other various amenities that our parks provide, like the dog park at ECP. A lot of people don't know about that necessarily, and we have a lot of lovely spaces in the city that, frankly, I know would only help Parks and Recreation in terms of what we do as a department to move forward if more folks knew about and used those public resources. So I think it's something that we definitely can help to educate more folks in the city. So let's put that on here as, I'm gonna write down just Parks and Rec resources, and however we wanna refine that, we can do that. But good suggestion, Carter. Anybody else? spaghetti at the wall.
I had one idea. I wasn't sure how doable this is given the limitations on social media you mentioned, but I think there's been a lot of misconceptions about the homeless action plan Encinitas has introduced, and especially with the midterms coming up. I think raising awareness is very important so people can understand the plan. So either making a platform to post or just share information about it, because I don't believe that exists yet.
Thank you, Commissioner Rohatki. We will throw that on the list.
I have a question. Do we have, this is just, again, throwing stuff out there, but like, and I wouldn't know, but is there a resource for like public, where like someone could see a pamphlet or information on public transportation that we have available in Encinitas?
I don't know.
It's a really good question. We do have a department that handles mobility and transportation. We can question with them of what resources they have and come back to the commission.
I know along those lines, last year we had talked a little bit about the potential for electric buses in the city. I know electricity is kind of a hot topic right now, but, you know, perhaps it's something that in that area we may be able to consider.
And then one other thing, just throwing this out there, something around art. Can the Youth Commission do something around like youth art or like activities?
Yeah.
I don't have action items on that, but
Yeah.
that could be an idea.
And then
Yeah, sorry. This is Rec Manager Staten. We do have a arts commission here in the city, so that may be overlapping with that commission, but when you tie in the youth aspect of it, we could definitely explore what opportunities may exist there, and I would be happy to talk to our arts administrator about any ideas she might have, or we'll just leave it to the other commission. I'll come back next meeting.
Yeah, specifically, what Commissioner Rupert mentioned earlier about the older elementary school off 101 that is supposedly, right, opening up for...
Pacific View?
Yes, opening up for an art exhibit, is that right? Is that correct?
So currently, the city council has earmarked, I believe it was $7 million, then after some architecture plans, might be less than that, to revamp that site. It has a projected opening date. However, as these things go, we'll see how that goes, but it will not be for a couple of years that site would be open and functioning. We are currently in the process of potentially putting out an RFP to attract interested architects, et cetera. And I'm not sure where we are in that process, so I don't want to overspeak. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Real quickly, just back on that, something that we are doing in the Recreation and Arts divisions is looking at potential programming that we could put in there that would be arts focused. So you could marinate on that as something, as a recommendation. You could research things that youth may be interested in as a programmable entity that could go into that space and bring that forward, because we are basing some of our concepts on what the community may want and need in that arts programming.
I also have another idea that doesn't really have any action plans to expand upon, but I know as of recently there's been a lot of talk, I guess, about mental health resources. So I'm thinking that maybe the Youth Commission could do something pertaining to that, because that's, I think, really important for our generation.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter-Ballou. Yes, that actually is something that we did have a speaker come in at the tail end of last year, and I think it is something that we honestly probably would be smart as a youth commission to try and work into the work plan. I think just like what you mentioned, society is driving that as a very important topic right now, and especially if this group feels, especially if it's an important topic, that could be something that getting those resources in the hands of your colleagues would be very positive. Potentially even a collaboration with the library. Sounds like we've got some epic collabs coming.
So one thing that I was kind of brainstorming and researching about was public beach safety. So I often see like kids, even after like the not recent, but after somewhat recent like cliff collapses, I see people that are like often like climbing these bluffs, and it's just like disaster waiting to happen. So I think also, which ties into it, like overall just like awareness on like rip currents and like how to get out of them. And I think this also ties, public beach safety could also tie back to like cleanups on the beach and avoiding like littering on the beach and stuff like that. But I think we could possibly create like a video that would do this, or like maybe hold like a class. I don't know if you could do that, but that would maybe cover this. I don't know.
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner Colin Ballou. That would be similar, I think, to work plan item number 3 from last year, where you have environmental endeavors. I think it also could touch into the civic engagement series a little bit. So this is something where we might be able to accomplish what you're talking about and put it into a few categories that we already have. We have the Marine Safety Department works through the city of Encinitas. So I think having somebody from that group come in and discuss some of those topics would certainly be valuable both to us and the community. So let's definitely do that stuff. And I would say that probably we'll rope it into a few of these other work plan items. So keep that on your radar and maybe get on to one of those committees. Any other ideas, thoughts from the commission? Hearing none, frankly, this is a pretty good list. What we're going to do next as staff is take this to our director, try and help and get some direction. I would like, if any of the commissioners would like to help refine any of these items on the list over the next month, and try and help me get to where we can add a few things into the work plan and have a real structure going into the next meeting, that would be awesome. Our goal will be to vote and finalize the work plan in next meeting. So today was a lot of brainstorming, coming up with ideas. All of these ideas are great and have merit, and so I think this was a really positive meeting. And thank you all for bringing some ideas today. And I think all of these things can, in some way, even if they don't go directly onto the work plan, can influence some of the things that we do to accomplish other work plan goals. So thank you for that, and I appreciate the efforts.
Do you have a way that you can send us like that list so then we can like on our own like add those action items just so we recall, or like just send us like email us that list, because then like I can remember that these are the ones that I need to add action items to, just to help on your end?
Yeah. If we're not going to put them, will these go into the minutes, Analyst Fisher? Probably not directly.
Not directly, no.
Yeah, okay. So then what I'll do is I'll send an email to the commission that just has a list of the things that we discussed, since I wrote them all down today. And then feel free to reply individually to me on that and mention anything you'd like to mention specifically.
Just to reiterate, that will be a reply only to Supervisor Anderson, not to the entire commission. Please don't hit reply all.
because obviously that would break some Brown Act items. So we want to stay in compliance with the Brown Act. So thank you everybody for that. That was action item 9B. We will move on to action item 9C, and we will need a motion to adopt the Youth Commission meeting calendar for FY 22-23. That calendar is on the screen currently. This calendar gets updated regularly for every meeting with events that are happening in the city. And as you can see, we've got Art Night coming up here in September, and then we have a slew of events that are popping up in October. Our guest speakers also get put onto this calendar so that the local community knows about who is going to be coming speaking to the Youth Commission. So, do I have a motion on the floor to approve this calendar?
Commissioner Rupert motions to approve FY 2022-2023.
Commissioner Lashensky seconds.
Thank you both for motioning and seconding. I will turn it over to Analyst Fisher for a vote.
Okay. Start with Commissioner Carter-Ballou,
Yay.
Commissioner Collin-Ballou,
Yay.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yay.
Commissioner Junis,
Yay.
Commissioner Lashensky,
Yay.
Commissioner Rohatke,
Yay.
Commissioner Rupert,
Yay.
Commissioner Sue,
Yay.
and Commissioner V Meister.
Yay.
Okay, the 2022-2023 Youth Commission calendar is approved.
Thank you all. We'll move on to agenda item number 10, and our Recreation Services Manager, Staten, will give us some department updates.
As summer has wound down, we are kind of in a rebuild, refresh, take a deep breath phase. So my updates are seemingly minimal as compared to normal. We did have our fall rec guide go out. It is all virtual at this point, so you can find that rec guide online, but we did not print any copies of that. And we've seen very strong registration to date. Dia de los Muertos, as you saw, is coming up, and that's on October 29th at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center. And then on October 15th, we have our movie in the park. It will be The Bad Guys, and it'll be over in Cottonwood Creek. So encourage all of you to attend. Should be pretty fun. And that concludes my updates.
Thank you very much. Agenda item number 11, Commission member initiated agenda items. Do we have any items today? Hearing none. Future agenda items added by commission members. Hearing none, then we'll move on to commission reports, and we will start with, let's start with Commissioner V Meister. Just some brief updates about what's going on for each of the commissioners and in your world.
Yeah, I'm Commissioner V Meister, and I'm a senior at San Diego Academy, and a lot's been going on. We have our Welcome Back dance coming up, and that's exciting. We're very much starting up the new year. We've got new admin, so they're making their way and introducing themselves. And yeah, things are going smoothly over there.
Commissioner Sue, I don't have anything to report this month.
Commissioner Rupert, we're currently planning our 3v3 soccer tournament at San Diego Academy, and planning for our homecoming in the future as well. And our English department is trying to work with the city of Encinitas to get our freshmen and classmates library cards.
Commissioner Rohatke, and I'm a sophomore at the Grauer School. We're working to plan in the next few months an art and activism combined showcase with spoken word poetry and art and songs, all activism themed.
Commissioner Lashensky, no reports about PRS.
Commissioner Junis, I'm a sophomore at La Costa Canyon. We were planning our homecoming dance, and everybody's kind of looking forward to it because it's kind of like a nice kind of, thing that everybody can kind of go to. And we also have our club rush on the 13th.
Commissioner Gonzalez, as far as SDA goes, they pretty much covered it before with the welcome back dance and 3v3 soccer, and then also the club fair is coming up.
Commissioner Ballou, Colin Ballou. My fellow commissioners from SCA have already covered stuff from SCA, but for me, I have a speech and debate tournament on Saturday this weekend, so I'm pretty excited for that.
Commissioner Carter Blue and I have nothing to report.
That concludes commission reports. Thank you all for those updates. And with that, I will adjourn today's meeting at 5:21 p.m. on September 7th. Are we done recording? Nice. Well, thank you, everybody. That was very well done. I know I mentioned that typically we'll stick around. Today, we did do a great job brainstorming, so we don't really need to stick around afterwards. I will send that email out either this week or next week, and then feel free to reply to that if you have anything that you'd like to add in terms of tangible action items that we can take for any of the work plan stuff that we discussed today. Feel free to say that you'd like to roll one into another as well. If you want to take something on the list and say, hey, we can make this an action item under one of the other things, then that's a great option for us as well. Any questions from you all before we wrap? Yes, this was resource materials brought in by our speaker McCormick today. Feel free to grab those on your way out. And see you all in a month.